At its peak between the 1930s and 1960s, Philadelphia's Fabric Row was brimming with textile dealers and tailors. Fabric Row survived 2 world wars and a Great Depression, but by the 1960s, white flight and a rising ready-made industry caused most of these family-run businesses to close. Today, only a handful of textile stores remain, but the Fabric Row neighborhood is anything but dormant. Iconic, long-standing stores like Fleischmann Fabrics and Supplies and Baldwin Fabrics preserve decades-old craftsmanship. In addition to these neighborhood mainstays, you'll find a thriving collection of boutiques, restaurants, record stores, and art galleries. Among the newest to open is Moore Vintage Archive, run by Keesean Moore. Moore has been collecting museum-quality vintage clothing for over a decade. Part store and part archive, Moore carefully documents the provenance of each piece, many of which have lived exciting lives on and off the runway. As a longtime lover of vintage clothing, I had a chance to visit Keesean and try on some truly iconic looks. Keesean, thank you so much for having me in your store.
I'm so excited to have you here.
Tell us, what exactly is vintage as opposed to, say, just old or used?
There's like a kind of rule of thumb where it's like anything 20 years or older. For me, what's most important is quality of the fabrics, quality of the construction, its longevity over time, and something that is worth preserving in my eyes.
What's the first thing you look for in a piece to identify it as like quality?
I'm really using my fingertips as like my eyes. So even the way that I curate the store is really like tactile. I want people to kind of walk through and feel this almost like erotic sensation of like touching the clothes and really getting into like that fashion can soothe the soul in a sense.
I like to say, you know, clothing is the thing that's touching your skin all day, so you want it to feel really good, right?
Yeah.
On top of looking nice.
Exactly. And I feel like that is in itself like a kind of self-care, like using your gut to, you know, really ask yourself like, does this feel good on my body? Can I live in this? And I feel like those are the questions that I'm trying to answer for people by providing them with an alternative to fast fashion or anything that's kind of mass produced.
The clothing here is very opulent and beautiful and special, and I do suspect there's an assumption that that is designed mostly for a woman, but I also have a suspicion that's not entirely who you're curating for.
If it fits you, then it is for you. I really truly believe above kind of like gender norms, I really believe in this kind of lock and key fashion moment. And for so many people, non-binary people, trans people, vintage stores are truly that one opportunity for them to really explore things that suit how they want to present themselves to be. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, this is pretty special. Ooh, I feel like the CEO of a planet.
When you talk about iconic vintage, this is what we're talking about. This is John Galliano from his 1995 collection. So with this jacket specifically, we found the runway images,
Wow.
we found campaign images where this was documented, and even Madonna's Take a Bow video. Like she's wearing this like very clearly, this same jacket.
I feel like if I owned this, I would do nothing but look at it.
Well, that's the beauty of fashion. Like it's wearable art. So you
Yeah.
can keep it as an object, or you can wear it and feel your most powerful.
You can feel different textures bring different energies, and this one has at least 4 different feels.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And these are master tailors and artisans who are constructing these things. This sleeve cannot be mass produced.
Right.
It needs a very skilled hand to do this draping and make it look effortless.
Beautiful. This is so fun.
This is what I love about vintage style. You have 3 different pieces from very different eras in fashion history, but all together they just look so unique and perfect on you.
So nice, and it's actually, you know, that feeling of just it locking in and really fitting.
Yeah, and you just look so, so cool. The jacket is this iconic Patrick Kelly tweed biker jacket.
I love it.
He designed this in the mid-'80s. He was super inspired by Chanel's tweeds, and he really wanted to establish himself as being on par with the greats.
I know it's important for you to preserve the legacy of fashion designers of color, especially.
Yeah, especially Patrick Kelly. He's super important to me. Black, queer, American, who really, really made a huge stamp on the world of like haute couture and ready-to-wear in Paris. We got another winner.
Yeah.
This is
so fun.
It's nuts. And this is the magic of vintage as well.
Yeah.
Of course, I like designer things, designer fashion, mark things, but this dress has no maker's mark. I have no idea who made it, where it was made.
You were talking about the feel, and I can tell also from wearing it, but by looking at the level of detail around, you know, some of the closures and
This is tailored to perfection. So you have this adorable kind of like Peter Pan 60s inspired collar, this button placket just shoots straight down. It's finished with, you know, probably about 20 buttons, which in and of itself is not cheap. Some of these things take 20, 30, 40 hours, several teams who have specific specialties in terms of finishings and cutting and tailoring. And that's what you're looking for when you're investing in clothes that you'll hopefully wear and pass down to future generations.
this is so adorable.
I love the sleeve.
Yeah. Oh.